I don't know if anybody has been keeping track, but the past several sermons or talks, Bob has been the catalyst for the subject of my talks by asking me the question, what are you going to speak about? One talk, remember, it was, I don't know. This talk is whatever God wants me to say. And so it's up to me to perceive from the experience that I've had over the past week, the things that would please God to have me say, to have me share. So let's start with Romans 1:20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse, but also the things that are heard and felt and tasted and even smelled. So why this quote? What are the things that I've perceived, done, seen, shared, offered this past week? Actually, it's week before this past week. As many of you know, it all started with a call from Sharon Pace. For an ambassador of peace of the Women's Family Federation, needing help to move. Too bad she isn't here. The lady in question is named Mary Shelton, and she lives Fuqua, Farina. I always get them mixed up. And Fuqua Farina. Thank you, John. So her situation was a case of eminent domain, which means the state kicks you off your property in order to build a road through your property. They gave her compensation, which was enough for her to move or buy another house. But it didn't change the fact that it's her home. She's 76 or 77 years old, with case of lumbago, arthritis, a lot of physical issues, plus also dementia. So when she gets tired, she tends to ramble and free associate a lot of things that happen to be rambling around in her head without able to really focus on what she is doing or what needs to be done. So she has a little dog named Blessing, because it's a blessing for her. It's her comfort dog. When she gets rattled, she hugs and pets it. So I had to deal with scenarios of anxiety and frustration. Anxiety because I'm a person who wants to move and wants to organize and be linear and direct, and let's get this party moving. And she is a person who says, oh, do I need that toothbrush or not? Maybe I don't need that toothbrush. How about that toothpaste? You know, when she could sweep everything on the counter in the bathroom into a bag and decide later. So the day we planned to leave was a Monday, and I thought, okay, we'll rent an SUV because she has little things to be packed up for the dog and for herself as we travel. And getting there, the movers, the people who are helping her move, are still there hustling things around, and she's trying to coordinate what she wants and what she wants to sell and what she wants to be packed in the truck. And we're supposed to be leaving, like in an hour. That was the first day. So she has got a lot of stuff out of her home, and we're supposed to be on the road, and she's not able to dwell at the house there. So I invite her to stay with us. So she comes over to our house, and we have a guest room, and she stays overnight. And the next day we head back to her ending home, and she's more lucid because she's had some rest and separated from the anxiety and so on. And so we pack up her things and we take off. The inherent task to driving an elder woman with her little dog with brakes and runs at 3 a.m. every day. So anybody who has driven long haul or long term understands that you have a tolerance level based on your fatigue. And it's really, really easy to get testy when you get tired. You have a place to get to, and you're going like molasses in winter. So thinking about True Mother helped a lot. But here's an elder woman who is really dependent on many things happening around her, for her, and also with her. So any other person hired to drive will serve her and fulfill a certain request, but will they really care about her? And so I'm thinking of True Mother. And directing that kind of caring to Mary with a peaceful and grateful heart. So all of us need to attend our own hearts in relating to others. In the course of the trip, it took 4 days to get to Las Vegas. And every evening, we stayed at a hotel that was pet friendly. Of course, being a service dog, Blessing had certain privileges. And that being the case, one privilege was having me walk him at 3 a.m. every morning. So we'd get to where we were staying about 10 o'clock at night. It'd take her till about 11 to get settled in and get organized and say goodnight. So I had 11 to 3 to catch up on 10, 11 hours of driving. And then from like 3:30 to 7 or 8. So it wasn't terrible, but that interruption during the night really interrupts your REM patterns and your sleep pattern. I found out that she really likes to keep a finger on situations, even from afar. So she's texting people continuously through the trip. But one thing that she did to almost everybody she talked to, she testified to the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, for helping her box truck all her heavy furniture, and the Unification Church, who is taking care of her like no one has ever taken care of her before. So thinking of her in the sense of how would I treat True Mother in the same situation? Having driven True Parents and served them directly and been around them, it's easy in one sense to be casually disassociated and just take care of your job. It's something else to be sensitively aware of where that other person is at so that you can attend their needs before they need. So we have arrival. In the course of the trip, of course, I pointed out things of interest of the West because I'm from the West. Things like, do you know where gin comes from? Juniper trees. So we're passing clusters of juniper trees. She says, I didn't know that. And we stopped to let the dog do some business, and there was a juniper tree. So I broke off a branch. It had little berries on it. And I handed it to her and says, smell it. It's perfumey. And anybody who has friends who drank, or maybe in high school or earlier, you had an experience of different alcohols. Gin is very perfumey, which is why it became a favorite ladies' drink in the early eras of England. So anyway, pointing out things like mile-long trains. See, in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, it's flat. So they can load a train a mile long. Can you imagine a train a mile long? You can't even see the end of it. They've got 3 or 4 engines pulling this thing across the country, and double stacked with shipping containers. So we're talking some serious tonnage and some real muscle and technology that people don't really see or appreciate. Her life experience has been that when she was younger of a stewardess. So she's in the air above, flying to different countries and so on. But one comment she made was, it's really different being on the ground and seeing what you've been flying over for 10 years. So that and geology and pioneers and that kind of thing. Then we arrive, Las Vegas, yay, and unpack the car. And she's in her kind of mode to find out what is in the bags and where should it go. So we unpack bedding, etc. But in the course of the evening, we arrived there about 6. We tried to get there between 6:30. It was about 8 o'clock. So 8:30, 9 o'clock rolls around. It's dark, and I've taken the dog out to do business. And I'm thinking, okay, now is the time to say goodnight and go to sleep. But she's puttering around, and she's tired, and she can't remember where the bedroom is. She's in the kitchen, and she says, Mark, where's the bedroom? Okay. The arrangement of the house is kitchen, living room, hallway, bathroom, small bedroom. It's a very simple layout. And I'm thinking, we need to put up signs, because when she gets tired, she loses all sense of direction. And even she mentioned, I should put up signs. So I thought it was kind of interesting that and during the course of unloading our vehicle, at the time, one of the trucks was there unloading washing machine, dryer, refrigerator, and some of the big appliances. And I meet one of the movers. His name is Corey, big black guy, about 45 or so. And we kind of hit it off. We're joking with each other and putting things away. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get back to Las Vegas? Because we haven't really planned the flight or anything. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Everything is in motion. People everywhere, cars everywhere. Everybody's in motion trying to get back to their origin. So we book a flight that leaves at 6 a.m. It's now 10 o'clock, rolling to 11. We figure in order to return the vehicle, because I'm going to drop off the rental car at the airport, in order to return the vehicle and check in, I need to leave at 2 o'clock. So Corey, we find out we have booked the same flight and our seats are next to each other. So I'm flying back with Corey and we're both exhausted. So there was little time to witness, actually. We talked about several points of the church and so on. He's not particularly associated with a church or a dogma, so he had some interesting questions that I was revealing different points of the divine principle about. And when we got back to Apex, he came with me from the airport, and I shuttled him to his house. And there we talked for another 2 or 3 hours. We arrived at 4:30 in the afternoon, so I was able to drop my gear and travel with him to his house. Well, it must have been about 5:30. And we talked until maybe 7:30. And I was kind of lightly mentioning, he had questions about free will. He had questions about why there are so many difficulties in the world And why is it so easy to be frustrated and disappointed, angry, and so on? So essentially, I explain parts of chapter 1, principle of creation, and specifically the fall. His comment was, so that's it. That's it. That's why we have so many problems in history throughout the world is sexual problems. He got it really fast. And I was kind of shocked that he was so well received about something that has been so difficult to get people to receive. And that was last Saturday. So I've been in touch with him since. He also does delivery like Uber of different. He's got an app delivering medicines, food, flowers, whatever. And so it's a little difficult to track him and hold him down to his schedule. So what I've come to realize through that is 5 days, 2,340 miles one way, or 4,680 miles both ways, that sometimes time and distance are irrelevant to God in our lives, not in his sense of things. So what does he have for us to experience and share? A heart of service through serving this woman who I never heard of, never had any association with. Meeting someone I was able to witness to and am continuing to stay in contact and witness to. And it's interesting that this talk about these things kind of gets summed up in a comment during a movie that Ann and I watched together called Carmelo, about a dog and a young man who has cancer. Towards the end of the movie, he quotes, "One's true value is not what you leave in this world, but what you leave in people's hearts." So we should try to leave things in people's hearts. And whenever I think of that, I think of True Mother, which automatically opens floodgates. That we need to leave significant points of ourselves in other people's hearts, making sure that those points in ourselves are points that God has given us. Thank you. Join me in prayer. Heavenly Parent, we thank you for each day of life and every breath in it. An opportunity to experience a world of your heart, a world of your creativity, a world that you've made just for us. That we have gratitude in moments of stress, that we can appreciate a challenge as a new way to express your will, and that we have an opportunity to multiply ourselves through others, through our families, through the blessed families themselves, through people of earth, people on earth. We thank you for the opportunity of our lives of living in the age of true parents, the age of Chanukah, the age of your only begotten daughter. Thank you again for our lives. We offer this prayer and ourselves to you, upholding our beloved true parents, praying in blessed couples' names as attendants to Holy Mother Anne. Adieu.
Adieu.